Yes, I am aware that you're looking at Oscorp, but this is what if Deku got Spider-Man's powers. And so, to start it off, Deku's class just started to head to Oscorp because they were going there for a science project about certain insects if they were affected by dangerous chemicals. And so they went to Oscorp. And you see, everybody else was quite weirded out with this, like, project, but mainly Bakugo and Deku's group of, like, friends, as Deku calls them, or Izuku calls them. They weren't really that weirded out, and Deku got assigned to, well, look at that, the spiders. And so, Deku was looking at all the spider cages, and he noticed that he looks up at a picture and sees radioactive spider, and looks in the cage looking for it. This bright blue spider with a red polka dotted spindle, I think they're called, or back, whatever you want to call it, the butt of the spider. And it wasn't there, as the main character feels a sharp pain shoot through his arm. Deku, not too different from the normal universe, starts to have a couple tears stream down his face, but he's worried about what this thing is, and was that what he thought he saw? And he kind of fell down to the ground, but then got back up and ran into the bathroom because his stomach and body wasn't feeling right. So he went into the bathroom and threw up in the stalls. Little did Deku or Izuku know at the point, but this pain that he was feeling was actually his DNA mutating into the spider DNA that we all know. And also, guys, I'm not making it where he makes web fluid. I am gonna do the Sam Raimi idea where it comes out of his wrists. Sorry if you guys don't like that, but that's what I'm gonna do. Sorry. Deku then notices that he's fallen behind and everyone was getting back onto the school bus and leaving. So he quickly runs out of the bathroom, running out of Oscorp, running through the lab once again, staring at the spider cages, and he's thinking to himself, what just happened to me? Sorry about the bad impression, but I don't really care. And yeah, he's basically wondering, did something bad happen to him? And so Deku runs out of Oscorp and runs onto the school bus as the teacher was doing her count of students, and she sees Izuku run onto the bus, and she had a kind of mad look on her face, but Deku kind of expected it. I mean, he ran away from the class. What else would he expect? And so they get taken back to their elementary school. Okay, I want to clear a couple things up. Deku does not know about his power yet. It's still changing. He was still changing his body since Deku was a much younger boy, so his body was trying to fight these changes, but eventually it does finally set in, and we're gonna cut to, I think, 7th grade for them. Yeah. Please don't mind the picture that I used. So, anyways, it's the second to last day of 7th grade in middle school for them, and Bakugo suddenly lunges at Deku out of nowhere, pins him on the ground, and Deku starts to feel a lot stronger and a lot more flexible even. And so Deku grabs Bakugo by the arm, it flips him and throws him into the wall, and Bakugo goes crashing through. Everyone was astonished by what Deku just did. Was this really Deku? and Izuku runs out of the classroom. No, this is not All Might training Deku. This is just a picture I'm using. So, Deku, after running a couple blocks, Deku ran into an alleyway and punched the wall. And when he went to let go, he moved his hand and sat it there. And all of a sudden, his hand was stuck to the wall. And Deku is really confused on what's going on. And so he starts pulling and pulling harder and harder until eventually the wall, parts of it break off with Deku's hand. And so he places his hand on there again and begins trying to like pull himself, and he notices he's a lot stronger than before. And so he pulls himself up on the wall, moving one hand up, then a foot, then a hand, and then the other foot, hand, until he was on top of the roof. And Deku is extremely scared on what's going on. Deku was extremely scared on how and what he just did. And so he begins standing on the rooftop, basically punching stuff, seeing that he can break walls with his bare fist. And eventually he gets to a point where he remembers the spider bite all those years ago of the radioactive spider. And so he starts joking around and tries to shoot a web, and he flicks his wrist, saying, go web go. And that's when, sorry guys, that's where I'm leaving it off here. If you want a part 2, that'll be 4 likes.